When the world looks at Africa, it usually sees a continent of charity, struggle, and resources that are untapped. But that's a convenient story. Africa holds enormous wealth, often controlled by a small circle of tycoons who shape industries from behind the scenes. A handful of businessmen have built empires that decide what gets built, what gets sold, and what gets powered. Some inherited advantage. Others fought their way through markets that reward the ruthless and punish the slow. Today, we're meeting the top 10 richest men in Africa. Who are they? How did they build their empires? And what do you think about that kind of power? Subscribe and like if you want more deep dive lists like this. Let's begin. In 10th place, we find the man who carries the weight of having rewritten mining rules in southern Africa, Patrice Motsepe. He is widely celebrated for a historic milestone. He was the first black African to appear on the Forbes Global Billionaires list, but focusing only on the title misses the real play that built his empire. Unlike most mining tycoons, Motsepe didn't start with a pickaxe, but with a law degree. Born in Soweto, he saw an opening in the late 90s. Gold prices collapsed, and major mining companies wanted out of their oldest, deepest, most expensive pits. Where the market saw financial junk, Motsepe saw leverage. He founded African Rainbow Minerals and bought distressed assets at bargain prices. The key wasn't just buying cheap, it was making them work. He pushed a compensation structure that tied rewards to results, changing incentives where others couldn't change outcomes. Of course, his rise is debated. Critics say he benefited from black economic empowerment policies. Supporters say he simply executed better than everyone else, and his connections are real power. His sister, Tsepo Motsepe, is married to South Africa's president, Cyril Ramaphosa. Today, he also carries influence in sports as president of the Confederation of African Football, and that mix of business, timing, and power has built Patrice Motsepe a fortune estimated at around $3 billion. Heading north, on the banks of the Nile, we find the ultimate survivor of Egyptian capitalism, Mohammed Mansour. He is proof that politics in the Middle East can erase dynasties as quickly as it creates them. The Mansour story begins with loss. They were major cotton exporters. But in 1964, the Nasser regime nationalized the sector and confiscated family businesses and assets. The family was essentially wiped out, and Mohammed learned a brutal rule early. Never assume your wealth is safe inside one border. The rebuilding didn't come from agriculture, but from international alliances. Mansour secured exclusive General Motors distribution rights in Egypt in 1975, building what became one of the biggest GM dealership networks. If you see a Chevrolet in Cairo or Caterpillar machinery on a job site, a slice of that flow connects back to the Mansour Group. His most dangerous chapter wasn't business, though, it was politics. In the late 2000s, he served as Minister of Transport under Hosni Mubarak and left the role in October 2009. That kind of proximity helps expansion, but it also paints a target. Then came the Arab Spring and many connected figures were crushed, yet Mansour stayed intact. Operating from London, he diversified far away from any single government's grip. Through Man Capital, he invested early in names like Facebook and Uber, and that survival instinct has preserved Mohammed Mansour's net worth, today estimated at around $3.4 billion. In 8th place, we have one of the most visionary figures on this list. Koos Bekker didn't build wealth by mining the earth or pouring cement. He got rich by making an asymmetric bet that changed a company's destiny. Bekker took the helm of Naspers, a South African newspaper publisher founded in 1915. It carried a heavy stigma. For years, it was linked to Afrikaner nationalism and the apartheid-era political world. Its core business, print, was also dying.
As you grow more established, though, a certain structure invades the company. You also start drawing different people. You start, when we started, we attracted the cowboys, people who are very prone to taking risk. But as you grow, you get people who want to play it safe, who go for an established company with an established job.
Bekker saw the digital wave early and moved into pay TV and internet plays. Then, in 2001, he made the decision that defined everything. Naspers bought 46.5% of a little-known Chinese tech startup for $32 million. That startup was Tencent. What followed was historic. Tencent became the company behind WeChat and a global gaming powerhouse, and Naspers' stake turned into a value engine that dwarfed most of the company's original business. Bekker's leadership was also personal risk. For years, he preferred equity-based pay over a traditional salary-heavy setup. If the company failed, he felt it. If it surged, he rode the upside. That transformation, from old media into global tech investment, helped build Koos Bekker a personal fortune that today stands at around $3.4 billion. Before we continue, quick check. Which name on this list surprised you so far? Drop it in the comments. In 7th place, we have the most unpredictable player of the Sawiris dynasty, Naguib Sawiris. He built his name in one of the fastest, toughest sectors, telecom. He drove the rise of Orascom Telecom, expanding into markets many executives avoided. But what defines Naguib isn't only growth, it's exits. When the global telecom world was consolidating, he helped orchestrate a major restructuring involving Orascom Telecom, Italy's Wind, and Vimpelcom, moving family capital into a new position. After that, he widened his reach beyond one industry: telecom, investments, and media influence, at one point holding a controlling stake in Euronews before later exiting. Naguib is the type who understands that political risk can eat profit overnight, so protection means mobility, diversification, and timing. That combination sustains Naguib Sawiris' fortune, estimated at $5 billion. In 6th place, we find the Nigerian businessman with enough firepower to challenge the continent's biggest titan. Abdul Rabiu leads BUA Group and sits at the center of one of Africa's most intense corporate rivalries. For years, Nigeria's cement and sugar markets felt dominated by one giant, Dangote, and the perception of inevitability was part of the power. Rabiu refused to play side character. He moved from trading into heavy industry, sugar refining, cement production, and scale. Then he did something that publicly revealed the weight of his empire. BUA Cement went public in 2020, and BUA Foods followed after, both listed on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. The rivalry isn't cinematic, it's business warfare: pricing, access to inputs, licenses, and influence. Rabiu positions himself as the challenger who forces competition in markets where dominance can become destiny. That relentless push has built Abdul Rabiu a fortune estimated at around $5.1 billion. In 5th place, we find raw determination: Mike Adenuga. He didn't inherit an empire. He built one through risk and patience. His story includes New York, where he worked as a taxi driver while studying, then returned to Nigeria and made a decisive leap into oil. Through Conoil, his group became known for breaking ground where few believed local capital could compete. But his most disruptive war was telecom. Adenuga launched Globacom into a market ruled by bigger players and forced a shift that changed consumer behavior: per-second billing instead of per-minute billing. That single move helped him steal customers at scale and forced competitors to adapt. Adenuga also keeps a low profile: rare interviews, minimal public spectacle, while his businesses span oil and data. That combination has built Mike Adenuga a net worth of $6.8 billion. In 4th place, we meet Egypt's richest man and the most quietly strategic of the Sawiris brothers, Nassef Sawiris. While others chase attention, he builds structures that survive volatility. He rose through the family's industrial base into a global footprint. with OCI becoming a major player in fertilizers and engineering. But Nassef's real instinct was risk control. He pushed major parts of his business exposure toward European systems and markets, reducing dependence on Egypt's political and currency swings. He also plays globally as an investor, becoming one of the largest individual shareholders of Adidas, and he became co-owner of Aston Villa alongside Wes Edens, planting influence inside elite European sports. That ability to turn construction-era wealth into global asset strategy has built Nassef Sawiris an estimated fortune of $9.6 billion. In third place, we enter true old money, Nicky Oppenheimer. His family shaped the modern diamond industry through De Beers for generations, controlling supply and influencing prices worldwide. But Nicky chose to end the era of direct control. In 2011, he announced the sale of the family's 40% stake in De Beers to Anglo American, a deal completed later for cash, swapping buried stones for liquid power. After that, his interests expanded into private aviation through Fireblade Aviation and large-scale conservation projects across southern Africa. He may no longer run the diamond machine, but he still holds corporate royalty status, and that strategic exit preserved Nicky Oppenheimer's fortune of $10.4 billion. In second place, we find the Lord of Luxury, Johann Rupert. He leads Richemont, a conglomerate behind brands like Cartier, Montblanc, and Van Cleef & Arpels. Rupert took a family foundation and pushed it into the most recession-resistant consumer category on earth, ultra-luxury. When the middle class tightens budgets, the richest buyers still purchase status. Watches, jewelry, heritage, exclusivity. Rupert is also polarizing at home, often clashing with political narratives and openly criticizing corruption. But his power is simple. He doesn't sell products. He sells identity. That dominance in global luxury has built Johann Rupert a net worth of $14 billion. Finally, in first place, isolated at the top, stands the man who became an economic force on his own, Aliko Dangote. He didn't start as a billionaire industrial king. He started as a trader, importing and distributing essentials, learning logistics, cash flow, and the brutal truth of scale. Whoever controls supply controls markets. Then he made the leap that defines empires. He became an industrialist. The engine of his dominance is Dangote Cement, the largest cement producer in Africa, with operations across multiple countries and massive capacity. Cement isn't glamorous, but it's the backbone of growth. Roads, housing, ports, factories. And then came the legacy bet, the Dangote Refinery, a roughly 650,000 barrel per day project built to reduce Nigeria's dependence on imported fuel. It began producing petroleum products in 2024, started producing gasoline in September 2024, and has been ramping up. When you control cement and begin to influence fuel, you're not just selling, you're shaping a national economy. That scale is why Aliko Dangote holds the crown with a fortune valued at an impressive $23.9 billion. When you look at these 10 trajectories, one thing becomes clear. The story that Africa is only a continent of need is incomplete. There is immense wealth, immense power, and industries shaped by a handful of men who know how to move first and scale faster than anyone else. If you liked this breakdown, subscribe, comment which name shocked you most, and I'll see you in the next one.